Welcome to this edition of the LucidQuest Cardiovascular Strategic Roundup, covering developments from 25 June through 21 July 2026. The defining story of this reporting period is that cardiovascular competition is moving from technology validation to evidence-based differentiation. Regulatory approval remains important, but it is no longer enough. Companies must increasingly prove where a therapy performs better, how it fits into care, and whether it improves outcomes that matter to patients and health systems. 4 themes stood out. The first was the rising evidence bar in structural heart disease. European approval of the Dragonfly transcatheter binasal mitral repair system expanded competition in functional mitral regurgitation. More strategically significant, however, was the launch of the randomized TRICURE study, comparing the investigational Topaz tricuspid replacement system with Edwards Lifesciences' EVOQUE platform. This signals a shift from single-arm development toward direct comparative evidence. Physician preference, reimbursement, and future guideline positioning may increasingly depend on measurable differences in implantation, durability, pacemaker requirements, imaging burden, and clinical outcomes. The key uncertainty is whether emerging systems can demonstrate meaningful advantages that remain consistent across operators, anatomies, and healthcare settings. A second theme was the growing importance of the full care pathway. Updated EVAR labeling supported by registry data, evidence favoring less invasive anesthesia during TAVR, and the ICECAP study combining advanced imaging with targeted coronary cryotherapy all show that value is extending beyond the core product. Competitive differentiation may increasingly depend on diagnosis, workflow, recovery, follow-up, and resource use. This could reward companies that connect devices and therapies with imaging, data science, and clinical operations. What remains uncertain is whether early procedural and observational benefits will translate into lower long-term event rates, durable cost savings, or guideline adoption. The third theme was more individualized treatment sequencing. Finerenone's expanded heart failure indication adds another option in an already complex treatment environment. Updated antiplatelet guidance supporting shorter dual therapy in selected post-PCI patients reflects a similar move toward balancing efficacy with bleeding risk. The strategic question is no longer simply whether a therapy works, but where it fits, which patients benefit most, and how risk should be managed over time. Adoption may still be limited by monitoring requirements, payer controls, treatment complexity, and uneven implementation. The final theme was the expanding role of patient priorities. Long-term valve data in women considering pregnancy highlighted the trade-off between avoiding anticoagulation and accepting a greater risk of reintervention. This broadens the definition of clinical value to include life plans, recovery, hospitalization burden, and individual preference. However, more targeted evidence is needed before these findings can materially reshape practice. Looking ahead, we will be watching TRICURE enrollment, Dragonfly adoption in Europe, follow-up from ICECAP, Finerenone uptake in heart failure, and prospective evidence on non-general anesthesia during TAVR. The key takeaway is that future cardiovascular market leadership will depend less on being first and more on proving comparative value across the entire patient journey. Thank you for joining this edition of the LucidQuest Strategic Roundup. For more healthcare market intelligence and strategic analysis, visit